Metadata is extra data about the file stored in the file, and anything you create digitally has automatic metadata. If I select the first image in this folder and hit the Metadata panel, or in Bridge, choose Window and Metadata panel, I can scroll to the very top and see the file name, the file type, date created and modified, file size, and width and height in pixels, and then in inches. Also resolution, bit depth, color space, if there's a color profile. And if I scroll down a little bit to IPTC Core, that actually stands for International Press Telecommunications Council, but it's a standards body that was developed in the early 1990s, and it's a way to add custom information to your images. So we can see that I applied metadata to all the images I created with my name as the creator, my job title, city and state, contact information. But you could get more specific. One of the very important things that a lot of photographers use is keywords. If I hold down Shift and select all three of these images, it's likely that they should have the same metadata. So in the keywords, I might put cat, and a semicolon separates each keyword. Keywords are searchable information. The more images you create, the more important you will find your keywords or your metadata for descriptions becomes. So I'll do cat, maybe kitty, window, sleep, and I'll press return or enter, and that would add a line. That's my habit. Tab will jump out of that field down to the next field. Or I could click away, and it's going to ask, do you want to apply these metadata changes to all the selected files? Don't show me again, just do it, so I will click Apply. So now if I click away and click back, you can see those keywords are there for all the files. If I scroll a little bit lower, you'll see a copyright notice. And copyright literally means the right to copy or copy an image. Everyone could copy files, but there are protections that you could put in so people can't use your images commercially or without your permission. So the moment I create the image, I have to obtain or give my permission for someone else to use that file. So by putting in the copyright notice of 2013 with my company name, all rights reserved, that gives me protection in case I find somebody uses my image without my permission or commercially to go back to them. In fact, let's take a look at a commercial photographer's shot. With this handsome gentleman, Ryan Sue created the images. He gave me written permission to use it for this video training series, and you guys are allowed to use it to work along with the files, but not commercially. So you'll see he puts his copyright notice on every image that he created. And in fact, I noticed that he put keywords on every image that he created. Metadata can be applied right when you capture an image. If you use Adobe Bridge and File, Get Photos from Camera, directly in the Camera Importer dialog, there's the ability to apply metadata. And you could do simple metadata, like just your name and a copyright year, or you can create a metadata template. So if I take a look here, the basic metadata is creator and copyright, which I put in as myself and the year copyrighted. But if I have an event or a photographer that I want to credit, I build a template for them as the images are coming in. So I'm going to hit cancel, or escape will cancel, and let's take a look at a folder of images that do not have metadata. So in this New Orleans folder, I'd like to put some keywords about these shots and a copyright of me being the photographer. So I will do select all, edit select all, and I will choose Tools, Create Metadata Template. And so I do this before I import batches of images, whether it be from a high-end camera or my iPhone or a smartphone. So I'll name this New Orleans. And I'll check everything in the IPTC core. I am the creator of these. I could put my job title. I could put my city, state, zip code if I want, email, phone, and website. But what's most important for me is probably the keywords. I may also search for creator to find in a folder of images files that I created. But in keywords, this will be New Orleans or New Orleans. I will add Louisiana in there. I may add Mardi Gras, 2013, and any other relevant information that I would think would be worth adding, things that I might search for. So maybe party. And notice I have a habit of doing commas between my keywords. That's okay too. If I press Tab when I create this template, Bridge will replace those with semicolons. Both are actually acceptable delimiters or separators for each of the keywords. So now I could put myself in as description writer. I may not want to write in date created because each will have their own date created and I don't want to overwrite that information. For the description, I will type New Orleans, 2013. And I've actually noticed that the copyright information is read by Facebook. I haven't seen it grab the description information, but Adobe InDesign can read individual descriptions and use it to help you build contact sheets with the descriptions automatically there. Or if you're a news photographer, it could be the caption for a photo that goes in a newspaper or in a magazine. So I will finish this off with USA. I could put the location, New Orleans. I'll just copy Louisiana so I don't have to spell it again. And I will finish it off with copyright notice. This is copyrighted, and I will do 2013, Kelly McCathran, all rights reserved. And I'll click Save. So I've built the template, but it's not applied yet. So under the Tools menu, I can choose Append Metadata. Append means add it to existing metadata. Replace would wipe out anything there and overwrite it. I just want to append in case I put individual keywords or other information. Keep that on these files. So I will choose New Orleans. And when I click on an individual image, now I see the keywords, it's fully searchable. And if I come back to the folder of all of my images, I forgot to mention that you can actually tell what device these are created on. So if I go down a little bit further to the camera data, the EXIF, which actually stands for Exchangeable Image File Format, EXIF, I could see that these were created a little bit lower with the Nikon 1 J1. Even a serial number is written in. The flash did not fire. I could see the lens. I could see the metering mode, the white balance setting if it's custom, or in this case, automatic, the focal length. If I select a more high-end shot, I could see this one was taken with the Canon EOS 5D Mark II. Flash did fire. There's the lens. It's on manual exposure. And other details, in fact, details like GPS, the longitude and latitude of where you were when you created it. Photoshop Lightroom will actually plot these locations on the map for you, so you could zoom in and see where you were at the moment. But my Canon does not have GPS built in, so it varies depending on the device. But be aware, your iPhone shots do mark in that GPS information as well. So if I select all of these images, which were born on an iPhone, there's latitude, longitude, altitude, timestamp. And that can all be read by Photoshop Lightroom, or you could pop it into Google Maps or any other mapping application and see exactly where every shot was taken. Do start to add metadata to your images. The more images you create, the more important your metadata will become for locating that hidden image that you know you created at one point, but you don't remember where you filed it. Bridge will help you search and find, based on keywords, description, date created, date modified, everything you see in the metadata panel. And it travels with your image even when you share them online. When you download many of these, you'll see the metadata is permanently stored in the file.